Welcome to Flosstube number 15. I'm Naomi. This is my channel, Bell Stitches Pirates, where we talk about cross stitch, some diamond painting, life, some of my other activities and crafts, including sewing. I haven't brought out crochet yet. It's been a while since I've done something. I've got a project I've got all the things for. Need to start it, but I probably won't start it until after the summer's over at the very least. But it's primarily about cross stitch with bits and pieces of life thrown in. Welcome. Thank you for joining me, and let's get started with what I have been working on the last couple weeks. So the last video I mentioned that we were getting ready to start building for Hello Dolly with the theater company that I do some work for. And we did. I say we loosely. I have not yet started. I was supposed to go to the read-through dinner where we met the full cast, took their measurements, got to hear the start of what the show will sound like. Because it's as literal as all the cast members sit there with their books, with their script and music, and whatever their character is, if they've got a line, they read it. If they've got a bit of a song, they do a rough sing through. And I say rough because this is the first time they've been really sitting down with the full score and script. So depending on the strength of their ability to read music, or their familiarity even with the show, some of them may be a little more accurate than others, but that's okay. They don't always sing every song all the way through. It's usually just a few lines, and then you skip to the next bit of dialogue. It's Hello Dolly, so there's a decent amount of dialogue in it, along with quite a few songs. And so that was supposed to be the Monday following the video. And on Saturday, my sister called me and said she was not feeling well is an understatement. That she had a fairly significant fever, that she felt like crap, and she was going home and gonna take a test. Home test came back negative. So she scheduled a flu and COVID test, and it came back positive. So we worked together out of her house. I had just worked with her less than 24 hours before. So I messaged and I said, hey, and I messaged even before the test came back, like she was on her way to get the test. And I said, my sister's feeling really under the weather, and you know, she's in the process of obtaining a test, but irregardless of whether her test comes back positive or negative, it's probably not a good idea for me 72 hours after I've seen her last to come to this read-through. So sorry, but you're gonna have to take measurements without me. Especially since I'd be in such close contact with the performers. Measurements is very personable, or a very personal, intimate task. We don't just get height and weight and bust and waist. If I'm building something from scratch, I need practically 100 measurements. Maybe not quite 100, but pretty darn close. Depending on the style of the garment that I might be building, if something's stretch material, I need a lot more measurements. If it's say a corseted garment, I need a lot more measurements. If the person's got a unique shape, I may need a lot more measurements to properly fit it, so that you're not in every other day getting fittings and me altering the pattern or altering the design quickly. Somebody doesn't know how to drive outside. Sorry. So measurements are pretty critical in wardrobe, and I had to bow out of measurements. I also bowed out of immediately going into the shop and helping with fittings or doing any of the new pile of alterations. So I didn't start last week. On top of that, because my sister was out sick for 4 days, she basically set my computer and the printer at her front door, and I drove over, masked up. They masked up while I was in there. Popped in, grabbed the stuff, the equipment and supplies that I needed to get my attorneys off to their assignments for the week, and relocated my portion of the office back to the house, to my house, only to, then instead of working part-time hours like I normally do, I normally work 5 hours a day, I was pulling 8+. For the week that she was out. She came back in on Thursday, but we didn't really tell anybody because I didn't trust that she was back to full strength, and she wasn't. So we told our direct boss, but we didn't tell any of the other attorneys besides our direct boss that she was working. And she ended up not doing, I don't even think she did 4 hours that day, because she just, when anybody who has experienced any kind of flu or sickness, anything that saps your strength, you might feel like you can get back to 100% really fast, but your body tells you fairly quickly when it's reached its capacity. And even though you're only really, 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 really sick for 24, 48, 72 hours, that period of time that you're sick, that your body is fighting a fight, it's exhausted. And so then if you try to go back into your daily routine and your workload, it's just, it wears out really fast. And so she maxed out, and she was needing to take a nap. Okay, fine, go take a nap. So I stayed on full time for the 2 days that she tried to come back, and she ended up not really being back full time. Monday she came back full time, but my nephew had gotten sick, so we still kept the 2 separated workspaces, mine at my house and hers at her house. Which made things slightly challenging because I had the printer, so if she needed to print things, she had to call me up and say, the document's in the file, can you print it and mail it? Normally she just prints it and I make sure it gets in the mail. So, long and short, I finally this morning, we'd gotten the all clear from all the doctors, and waited a couple more days just to be sure. Got the all clear. And today moved my office equipment back to her place, to her office. And I messaged the theater and said, hey, you know, when do you want me to pick stuff up? And so tomorrow I go and pick up the first mountain of alterations, and the next few weeks I'll go to the day job in the mornings and get home around 3 or so and spend 3 or 4 hours sewing. So since I had an unexpected 2 weeks where I wasn't doing alterations, I got to focus a little bit more on stitching. So I got stitching done. My first piece that I got to focus on was a piece that you've all seen. Me working on. And I got it finished. I still have to figure out how I'm gonna fully finish it. I don't really want to make it a pillow. The next design for the series is the sample was finished as a pillow, and they included all the pieces for you to finish it that way. This was finished to go in a frame on the sample. And I'm not sure that that's how I want to do it either. I'm trying to think of how I would display it when I do the next piece. If this is framed and that one's a pillow. And I'm just not really feeling a framed piece for this. So what I'm thinking is maybe making it into a tea tray insert. I found a tray that might be large enough. I say might. I didn't measure. I spotted it and went, ooh, that's an idea. So I had the house done, the quote done. I'll come in closer. And probably I had about from here down and around under the quote done on the border. So I focused on the border, got the border done, did our little couple. It helps to get it up. I'm still undecided on whether I want to go in and add some back stitching. So like from here, you can't see her arms. Her arms are the same color as the portico on the house. You also can't really see the widow's walk on the house, except where it crosses in front of the chimneys. So looking at it, I really do think I probably need to go in and at the very least do some back stitching, maybe in a light pink. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to look at it some more and play with it. But I've got to finish, and I'm super excited about it. So that was the first piece I worked on. Then I worked on Brooks Book's Spirit of America Angel. I know the last time you saw this, I had a good chunk of the blue bits done that make up her skirt. But I don't think I had any of this white and ecru colors done. I certainly only had maybe a little bit of the darkest red stripe. So she's coming along. The face is Confetti City. And there's going to be a lot of confetti through here too, because it's like a rose floral pattern on that underskirt. But she's getting fairly close where I'm going to have to go hunting for the Krynic and the beads, and if I don't have them, order them. So then that leaves us with my last piece, and this is going to be a pain in the neck to show you. Let's see how we do it. So I've been working on all these pieces, or all these ornaments. It's the Shannon Christine 2020 Christmas Ornament Sal. And I'm putting them all on the same piece of fabric. So like I've had these done for a long time. I went in and did a bunch of beading because I figured once I finish this first 2 rows of ornaments, cut them out and start working on finishing them. So I started putting in the beading, but the hoop size to just fit the ornament is just small enough that it works great for putting on the beading, but it doesn't work great for stitching the whole design. So when I got to the point of, okay, it's time to stitch my next ornament, I had to go back to the Q-stamp, and ran into a slight problem in that there's beads up here, so I folded it all like to use the edging to give it some extra protection, but I think I still managed to crush a bead, so I may have to replace a bead on one of these two. So I'm gonna get this one done, so 3 more done, bead it and chop it off into ornament shapes so that I can keep going. And then there's a total of 15, so that puts me at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of the 15 will be done. And then there's a whole nother year. But that's what I did. I finished Let It Snow somewhere else. You see, yeah. And I found a minor, I'm not sure if it's a chart error or was intentional, but if you've got this and you haven't done it, pay attention on your E's, because all of the E's have 2 backstitch distance on their center E, except for the very first E that you come across. So as you're stitching and you get to the E after the M, that E did not have 2 lines for backstitching in the center of the E. It just had 1. And I was like, okay, you know, I'm just stitching away. It's the first E I've done. And I get to the next E and it's got 2. And then I looked at the pattern and the next E had 2. And the next E. So it was just that first one had just 1. And I'm looking at it, I'm going, it's not like it crosses something where I wouldn't want to stitch over that. So I went back and put another one in. I did that, and I did deck the halls, and this one I just have, there's some stars, a star here, and I think there's maybe a star down in here, maybe, or maybe it's over here. So some more of these stars, and then back stitch to the ornament, put in the cryonic. There's a few beads on the ornaments, but that's an ornament, that's an ornament, that's an ornament, that's an ornament. And then this is like a strand of holly. So there's a bunch of red that goes in here. And it'll be done. But it's coming along. It's coming pretty good. I would say they're fairly quick stitches. Oh, they're like 50 by 50. Some of them are, I mean, it's fairly confetti heavy. So like this one has like 3 of the white stitches. So this one has maybe a couple of more. It's got 3 colors of red in it, and the white. And this one's got 2 colors of green and the white. And so, you know, it's just double checking if you're carrying your thread, where are you carrying it to minimize the chance that it'll be seen. And if you're not carrying your thread, then, you know, starting and stopping and starting and stopping. As you can see, I'm carrying my thread, but I'm carrying it fairly strategically. I'm trying to do it from a point to a point where it's going to end up getting mostly buried, because the ornaments end up finished fairly close to each other. There's only a couple of stitches apart. So if I can get it to where all my carry threads are going to be like stitched over for the most part, then it's going to be good. Or making sure that they don't go straight across the holes, because that's the most, in my experience, that's when they become the most visible, because you can see them through the holes in the fabric, in the weave. But so I'm working on this. I'll probably finish this ornament and then set it aside for a little bit. I may or may not do that. We'll see. No New Starts is doing a riff on Mania, because it's the No New Starts group. Although I'm in the lane where as long as I finish something or have an open slot, and I do have some open slots, I can start something. So I finished Incomparable. I have the next one in the series. I also have the murder mystery box from Black Needle Society that I could maybe do. So I have to look at my future projects pile and see what it is that I'm wanting to start in its place. Some of which will be determined based on size of the piece, although I think that one was a large. It might have been a medium. So you can only do a piece that's a comparable size or smaller. So like I can't finish Brooke's books and then substitute it with a piece that's this big, a project that's this size, because this is much higher stitch count than this one. But I could stick something smaller in that spot. So I have to look at what I have, and if anything is bigger than that, I have to either put it in its own slot, because like I said, I do have some open slots. I have 4 open slots. But that's my stitching. And then I had another finish, just not stitching finish. I finished this baby. So she's completely done and will be coming off of the I just have her pinned to foam core. Should be coming off of the foam core. And I have yesterday gotten most of the supplies to frame her. I've got the framing supplies. I don't have yet the acrylic paint. Haven't decided how I'm going to deal with that. So that's my diamond painting. I got started prepping my next one, which is probably about twice her size. So I have all the diamonds. I have taken all the diamonds for her and put them into little Ziploc baggies. And I have taken and put all the diamonds for the new one into my little project, basically storage containers. They're condiment cups from the dollar store. For haul, I received my March Silks for You Silk of the Month Club. And so if you've been watching my my January and February clubs were neutrals. This one is very bright pinks, purples, and blue. And I just love how they come. So the April invoice has already gone out. It'll be close to the end of May before I actually get them. Silks for You is based in Australia, so she sends the invoice out fairly early. Not fairly early, like the 10th to the 15th of the month. So March's invoice came out around the middle of March. And then this arrived Monday. So about a month later, give or take. And it comes in a little envelope. And to reduce the shipping costs, what they do is they drop ship all the envelope packs with the person, mailing label on the cardboard envelope. And they take this pack that's in the cardboard envelope with your name and address, and they drop ship it to a single location in your general vicinity. So mine actually come from Texas. And then they put on domestic postage and send it out. So it may cost them X number of dollars to send out this box with, let's say, 50 subscriptions, but it costs only a further 58 cents to mail it from Texas to my house. But each of those steps takes a little extra time. So it's well worth it. But if you do join the club, from your first invoice until you receive your product, at least in the United States, in my experience, it's give it a month or so. So usually when it shows up, especially the first one, I had paid 2 invoices at that point. And I'd forgotten about what the process was going to be. So I was looking at this address going, I don't know who this is. So got that. And then I got the Just Cross Stitch magazine. And I am really excited about this peacock band. For whatever reason, I really like peacocks. The pin cushion is cute, or not the pin cushion, sorry. The strawberry is cute, but I'm not sure that I'm really... Where did... So I've been looking for a strawberry pattern because it's something that I want to make at least one of. And I went, ooh, a strawberry. And I looked at it and I'm like, it's just not singing to me. So I probably won't choose that strawberry. But I'll look at their instructions for finishing it. This has some ornaments for the 12 days of Christmas. It's a multiple magazine series. I thought this was a cute finishing idea. It's like a little box, but then they did a stitch piece on the inset of the box. And these were really cute. So it's a bird. Is it all birds? Yes. It's a bird inside of a patchwork pattern. And I just thought that was so cute. Depending on the dimensions of it, what I saw was a really cute motif to put into one of those cross-stitch afghans. So awesome little pieces, and I may have to go and get the back issues for the rest of the 12 days of Christmas. We'll see. I have to take another look at those. But got that magazine. I was really excited. And then I went to the Dollar General. Now, Dollar General's a little different from the dollar store or Dollar Tree in that the dollar store and Dollar Tree are roughly $1 for anything in there. Our Dollar Tree has gone up to $1.25. And most of the stuff is more along the lines of craftsy, you know, kids coloring books or inexpensive throwaway type toys. But I hadn't been in the Dollar General for a good long while, and I had some things I was looking for, so I popped in and I found this little box, wood box, and it was before I saw the magazine, and I saw it and I'm like, that's a good size. and it would make a great little like sewing box and put something decorative. So thought I picked up one. We'll see, play with it. And then, like I said, I had finished Incomparable, and when I saw this tray, it just, A, it looked like it might be the right size, and B, I was like, you put a piece of cross stitch in this, and now this would make it so your cross stitch cannot be removed ever, but you put a thin resin pour on it to seal it. And you've got a nice little tea service tray with your art. So it's an art piece when it's not got tea service stuff on it. Or a letter tray, and your cross stitch, because you've put that resin pour on there, or even possibly like Mod Podge polyacrylic, one of those, to seal it, would probably also do well. But it gives you that surface that A, you can clean it, because you're going to want to wipe it down every so often, and B, it's not going to get stained or damaged by your teapot or your cups or whatever you put on it. So I picked up that. And then this one is definitely not necessarily for cross stitch, but I also saw this. It's a 12 photo frame, and I'm in the process of designing a room at my sister's house for my mom. And the one thing that she really, really has wanted for a good long while is photos of her kids and grandkids up on the wall. I'm like, it's the wrong color scheme, but I'm pretty sure it's plastic, but I'm pretty sure I can paint it. So for the price, I figured another craft project, pull out the paint. And then last but not least, I picked up through their Amazon store, Wrap-Tex canvas stretching framing. So each of these bars has double-sided stick, and then you stick them on the back of your canvas, and you once you're certain where you're placing your bars, then you peel off the one side, you stick it down, and eventually you end up with a canvas wrapped wood frame, and then it's got little corners that you tap into place in the grooves on the frame. I've seen a couple of YouTube videos about it. None with this specific company. This company's out of New York. And when I saw that they had an Amazon page, I was really excited. You can also order from them directly. And even you can let's say you have something that's a really strange size, you can ask them for a custom cut, and they will make your bars specifically for you. But they have, so I have, what is it, 13 and 17 no, 12 and 17 inches for this piece. And I did some careful measuring with my quilting ruler. This is 18 inches long. And so it says that it's a 12.6 by a 17.3 design. Oh, I need to clean that. I need to run a lint roller over you. My hair sheds and it gets everywhere. Apparently it has gotten on this. So basically what doing it as a 12-inch instead of getting a custom cut does is it means that I'm gonna have to lose 2 rows of diamonds on each side. So like from there to there. So I looked all along the side and I went 2 rows isn't going to affect the spacing on the piece. 2 rows here is not going to affect the spacing. And then I was looking at the height, and I really didn't want to lose any or very much of the bottom, but the top ends up I need to lose like maybe 3 rows of diamonds up here. So I'm gonna get the bars attached, and then I may pop those off. We'll see. And then of course, you know, paint, cover the edges with with acrylic paint, probably in this dark navy, or black if I can't find navy. But that's what these are for. So just about perfect. And it wasn't pricey at all. It was all told, I think, less than $25. So I'm pretty pleased with that, and I will probably try to do a tutorial, watch me mess around with this when I actually sit down and do the framing on that. But for now, I've got the supplies, then I just have to finish it. And that's what I have. No, it's not. I also have 2 more items that came in the mail. So I had mentioned to my husband that, primarily because he was like, you're watching a lot of diamond painting videos. Yes, I am. That I had this piece that I was really contemplating trying out, and it's the Orion Nebula picture by NASA that has been charted at Heaven and Earth Designs. And so I was, you know, I knew I could get the canvas from them, get the pattern if I wanted to do pattern keeper for it. But I needed to make a decision on, do I want poured glue or tape? Do I want black and white symbols or color? And then also, where do I get the drills and how much should I expect this to cost? So I was in the researching process of how to do a customized cross stitch piece, and our first anniversary was this past week, and I opened up the card and he had a gift certificate in there for paint with diamonds, because he did a search for Orion Nebula diamond painting and they were one of the few that came up. So yes, they have it. Didn't particularly like their mock-up, so I looked at basically I really want to do the Heaven and Earth version, I think is what it boiled down to. If I had seen it without already knowing what the Heaven and Earth Designs mock-up looks like, I probably would have been okay. But I've seen the Heaven and Earth Designs mock-up. So, really needed or wanted it to be that one, and so theirs was less than satisfactory to look at, even just on a computer screen. So I do have two diamond paintings, technically three, from them that I used the anniversary present money for, and they're sitting over there waiting to be unboxed. But I will do those as a separate unboxing. Probably won't get to them because, like I said, I've already got my next one set up, and it's going to be a case of one diamond painting at a time is about what I can handle, and I'm getting ready to start doing a bunch of sewing on top of stitching and diamond painting, so I may not have much diamond painting time at the moment, but that's okay. So that's what I have. 3 projects, 4 if you include diamond painting, 2 finishes, and I need to sit down for May and plan out what I'm going to do. I like the no new starts idea of an FFO mania. I have a pile of things that I need to FFO. B, I need to get them done. Honestly, A and B are the same. And honestly, it may be a case of not just FFOing cross stitch, but I have my little card book that I really need to get finished. Yeah, I've got most of the supplies for completely finishing Aura Owl. So why not get it finished? So we'll see. May's going to be busy with the theater, so my machine will already be out. Finishing is not that big of a step forward. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what I get done and how far I get, but I'm looking forward to experimenting with different techniques, different things, and seeing what I can accomplish. Let me know what your plans are for Mania. If you're going to do a traditional Mania, if you've never heard of it before, that's fine too. I know there's Sania, Monogamania, people who only do a project on, or do one new project a week, and Monday through Friday they work on that new project, and then the weekend they work on whatever, an old whip or something. there are a lot of different ways of doing it. I've done it a couple different ways myself, and this will be a third one where I focus on finishing things, or rather fully finishing things. So let me know what your mania plans are. I'd love to hear it, and I will see you hopefully in the next week or two, unless things are totally crazy. And if they're crazy, well then I will see you once the show opens in the middle of May. Bye now.